It couldn't really be better. I'm sure we all can't wait to get back outside. But really looking forward to telling you more about TikTok Shop here in Ireland. Before I get started, has anyone bought anything on TikTok Shop yet? The nods at the back. Have we got 2? Okay. What did you buy? Makeup from who? Be Perfect. Okay. Same for beside? Yeah? Okay. Great. So we have 2 customers out of however many. Anyone who's considering it, that's what you should be doing. I'm not necessarily pushing you to buy something, but definitely get on the TikTok app and check it out. I'm going to tell you more information today, but that's number 1 thing I would recommend. So just to introduce myself, I am Katey. I'm one of the account managers for TikTok Shop here in Ireland. We're absolutely delighted to have an Irish team and that the market has launched. I'm going to be telling you just a little bit more about why we've launched and kind of the wider project that it's part of. But ultimately what my job is to onboard businesses. So I was talking to Kenny's bookstore, who I know is trying to register. So if you've tried to register, I've probably either been in touch or got someone to be in touch with you. But I also manage, businesses to help them scale. So a small but mighty team, pretty much covering everything. So if you're going to try and sign up, you'll be dealing with me or 2 people on our team. So what is TikTok Shop? So to maybe take a little bit of a step back, TikTok has been around I started in 2020, it was definitely around then. I gave a talk in college recently. I think I graduated my master's in 2018, it technically didn't exist then. So I was telling the students, like, it's okay if you don't know what you want to do, like my job or company didn't exist when I was in their seats. But ultimately, as it started to expand and grow over the last couple of years, we've seen it has a lot of influence, both on like user behavior, but also just like maybe some of you were roped into dances, which was a couple of years ago, but still influencing behavior on and off the app. And something that we really saw grow is this hashtag, TikTok made me buy it. So even before TikTok Shop, probably before the advertising really took off, I come from an advertising background, so that's what I started doing at TikTok. TikTok was influencing those behaviors, so maybe discovering something new, a new product, a trend. Feta pasta was a big one, which I still have not got around to trying, but maybe one day. But again, that phenomenon and that influence that TikTok was having in people's lives. So being able to introduce, obviously, the advertising platform and solutions, which a lot of you will be familiar with, and then Shop is just one of those kind of next logical steps to bring it all in under the app itself. So in terms of the way that we see TikTok Shop, it's really that it's influencing behavior all around. I think sometimes, and again, any of the measurement partners and everyone in the room that's worked on anything online, sometimes it's hard to measure, exactly what's the impact something is having. Of course, we've got so much transparency now, but sometimes your online activity is influencing your in-person activity, etc. I think I'm living in Dublin at the moment, but we all saw Bambino, that pizza place in Dublin that grew up, not just on TikTok, on Instagram, of course, but the impact that the online, again, can have in the offline experience. So just again, where we're kind of seeing and where we see ourselves situated is helping to drive that commerce both on and off the platform. So we are officially open for business. I do have some people in our TikTok office in Dublin come up to me and be like, is it definitely open? Like, I can't see it on my phone, or like, I haven't seen any videos or whatever. We are. We opened on, or kind of opened a spot online on December 9th. So a very crazy 2 weeks before Christmas for some of the businesses that started with us. So they had about a 2-week warning, which, as you can imagine, around Black Friday was it was a lot, but it was brilliant because people were really in the mood to buy. So it was actually just a great point to just give it a go. And the one thing I would say about the launch that we were absolutely delighted with was the amount of people that went live. And I am going to touch on live today because I think that's probably one of the biggest questions that I get. But anyway, we had a brilliant launch. We're very, very happy with it. Everyone internally was like, what did you guys do in Ireland? You know, because the numbers were great. But I think we've been watching it for a couple of years from the UK, right? The US got it about 2 years ago. So it was really just a matter of time. And not only were the businesses ready, the customers and our TikTok users were raring to go to give it a try. It is part of a wider EU expansion project, because I think this is great for you to know. I think there was a talk of EU and the expansion today. So we launched on the same day as Spain, so Spain launched on December 9th as well, and then as of last week we opened France, Germany and Italy, and we have some pretty cool features now that allows you to use your Ireland TikTok Seller Centre, which is like the platform you upload your products, to ultimately sell intra-EU. Category dependent, books I think are one of the limited ones, but for others, again, it's just a great thing for you to know about. You don't have to do it, but it's a really exciting product update that we're very excited about. So what is it? I get a lot of questions on this, and I've been pitching it now for a couple of months, and I think one of the biggest mistakes, I suppose, that we get is maybe the team that it goes to. The social team normally are like, oh, we'll send our social team onto the call. Great, right? Social is a massive part of how you make this successful, but ultimately it's an operational setup. I don't come from an e-commerce background, so it's been an absolutely massive learning curve for me about warehouses, logistics, 4PL, 3PL, like product moderation, listings, all of this stuff, which again, you guys are probably very familiar with. But I think that's the thing that if you are thinking about it and maybe what team it will sit with, or you know the agency that you're partnered with, it's an e-commerce opportunity. Like it won't just sit with the social team. You do need people with operational minds behind it. So just one of the big, I think, misconceptions that we have. It's not really like a plug and play as such. So how do we see ourselves, I suppose, in the industry? Because it's important to think about that. Again, multi-channel, omni-channel is what everyone has been talking about for the last couple of years. The way that we differentiate it is, and I think come back to that TikTok made me buy it and that discoverability element, it's the interest base. So if you're interested in farming, books, tools, beauty, whatever it is, you're going to see content, and then now consequently products linked on those content that are, you know, that you're going to be naturally interested in. Other platforms, or the way that we kind of typically search online, you might be looking for something specific, and then, you know, but you've probably seen it somewhere, maybe on TikTok, maybe on somewhere else, but it's slightly different, right? And then you've got our follower-based social commerce, again, recommendation by friends or family, etc. So it's not just upper funnel, because obviously TikTok Shop is a lower funnel setup, but it's just important to remember about that discoverability element. I think Book Talk was a great example in the book world, right, where books, I'm sure, are starting to trend that you'd never think of, or maybe sat on the shelves for years, and now all of a sudden they're popular. So it's great when you have those available, because you just don't know what's gonna come up. Okay, so now to get into it. So the girls at the back who've made their first purchase know what this looks like. For the rest of you, I will show you like a group of businesses, and there's a couple of retailers on there that you can check out after this. You don't have to buy something, but just so you see the customer experience, I think that's really important, what you're asking your customers to do. So the first on the browse piece, this is like a Pixie Beauty, so a brand. So I don't know if you can see it, the wee shop link, it's like the little shopping cart in yellowy orange. That ultimately is what makes a piece of content shoppable. So you post a piece of organic content and you tag a product on it. So the people don't need to like drop off, go to the website, find out what that product is. It's available then and there. Once they click on the product, they can see more information about it. Of course, they can drop off and go back and go about their business, scrolling on their For You page. But if they want to buy it, they have the option there. You can also add it to your cart, and I think it stays in your cart, like there's no expiry date on when that comes out. And again, they can go back and keep scrolling. Third one is your checkout, so a couple of different ways that you can pay. But the important thing to think of for here is, particularly for the audience in the room, is the purchase happens on TikTok. So when you buy, or the girls bought from Be Perfect, they paid TikTok, and then TikTok then go on to pay Be Perfect after that. So the interaction with the customer is TikTok. Then you'll get an update to say, hey, your order is on its way from Be Perfect, but it will be the TikTok. Like that's where the interaction is coming from. Again, ask people in the office or whatever when you go back if they've made a purchase, and you can check that out yourselves. So the other thing is, how can you discover TikTok Shop? How can you see the products yourselves? And as I said, that's why I do have people coming up to me being like, is it definitely live? Like, I haven't seen anything myself. And they're TikTok staff, so don't worry if you haven't seen it yet either. So in Ireland, the two ways basically that you can see products are product links, so we've just showed you those. So they appear quite natively in your For You page, so to be honest, you might have seen some when you scroll past them. And then the other one is live shopping, which I am going to go into a bit more detail on after this. You can also do, it's not a shop page, but on the product showcase. So I imagine that's what most of you are going to do after this, or if you are looking it up, you visit the brand's profile and you can see the little basket icon, and that's how you can shop the products there. You've seen the product display and the in-app checkout, but just to show you that again. So again, just to go into detail here on the two forms of content that are important for selling on TikTok Shop. To just take a pause here, TikTok Shop is not a platform, particularly in Ireland at the moment, that you're going to upload your 2,000, 10,400 products, whatever it is, and they're just going to pick up and people are going to start buying. You have to get it in front of people, right? So you have to add that product to a video, talk about it on a live, get people back to your profile. So that's why it's not really like a plug and play type thing. It's really important that you get the content in there. That's where your social team or your content team come into play to get the message out there. So you do have to work pretty hard at it to get the content out there. You're probably already doing content, so it's just including that. But it's a really important thing to note. People aren't just searching for the products and they come up. It's all content driven. So we've touched on shoppable videos. I'm not going to go into too much detail more on those. But what I want to talk about is live shopping. So girls at the back, did you join a Be Perfect Live, or what did you did? And what did you think? Live, yeah. Yeah.
And then I was able to use that voucher off products.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you only get that voucher once.
Yeah, so it changes every month. So if you bought it at the start, it was probably like 30% off for a new customer. Yeah, a max to the $5. This month, for example, it's 15% off for a new customer. So it just varies. So those incentives are coming from us. You don't have to opt into them, you can opt out. But TikTok itself will sometimes run promotions where the customer gets the discount, and then the business is still paid as normal, but TikTok subsidize shipping sometimes or the new customer discount. So live shopping is definitely interesting, and I know for some it'll be like, oh no, just can't even go there. But I think the way that I'm thinking about it is, and the way that I suppose got my head around it, we've evolved from still images to video, and live is just, I suppose, another step in that journey. So rather than taking a video and capturing it and putting it up online after, it's just like they're there with you. And a lot of you will have physical stores. It's like just having people in the room with you or in the shop. And you're interacting with them, and probably your people that work in the shop probably going to be very, very good at this, like kind of live selling. So what it is you're able to go live, you tag your products, so you can have all your products linked or some of them, and then you talk about them, in the demonstration or whatever way you want to do it. So it's just another way for you to shop. I had a slide in here that I remembered afterwards, and I forgot to include it. But just before we kind of go into the final things, I wanted to ask, when do most shops, or when do your shops, your physical stores, close? Like what time? 5, 6 p.m. What time do sales peak on TikTok Shop? After 5 p.m. So it's another opportunity, again, for you to reach people when they're probably on their way home. Like, I know sometimes in the cities we can go to shops later. If you don't really want to, you just want to get home. So it's an important thing to think about how can you capture them, after the physical store is closed. Okay, so just to touch very quickly on how you get started, you sign up, you upload your product catalog, you do not have to upload everything, remember thinking it's only going to be pieces of content with products that sell, and then you can work with lots of different ways to make it work. So the one thing I want to touch on in a little bit more detail is creators, and then I'm going to wrap up. So the big thing that we have and what we're seeing work really, really well with 2 big retailers that I've been working with over the last month is creators. So influencer marketing is not new. Affiliates, working with affiliates on a commission structure is not new. What TikTok has developed is this affiliate program all under the TikTok app itself called the TikTok Creator Marketplace. What you're able to do is list your products on this marketplace if you want. It's all completely optional and you can opt in and opt out of it for a set commission. Now I understand a lot of you will be working on margin, so this is all up to you. And what you're able to do is get content from those creators in exchange for a free sample. So Be Perfect do a lot of this, for example, they list their products and they've got hundreds of people talking about them very natively and authentically on the platform. If you are a business that struggles with content, or even if you're great at content, if that was the only thing that you did, like there's businesses making like 6 figures a month on TikTok Shop since we started, just with creators. Now you do need to look at that margin, but that's honestly the make or break. Like if you never went live, you never posted your own video, you could do a lot with just creators. So it's a really important thing to look at. I'm going to fly through this. This is what it looks like for the creators. So they would go in, you set some of your products in the marketplace. They have to be accepted. It is highly regulated. And they've got 2 weeks to post a video if you send them a sample. If they don't post a video, they get like a violation on the account. And you can see there's a creator that doesn't really do a lot of videos and doesn't do it on time, so you don't have to work with them. So again, just to kind of get your ideas thinking about it, this is what we're seeing working really well for retailers. They were hesitant at the start, and I get it, and they just changed their mind, and we've seen, I think, one had a 500% growth. And like if you all saw the video, you'd be like, I don't know about that video. And one of them made, like, I think it was 3,000 in sales, and the creators earning 10% of that. So it's really, really important to look at. So again, we've shown you this. Here is some of the examples. So of course the retailers on there are Heavens and Mars for you to definitely check out. This is not an exhaustive list, but still a good overview of who's doing well. Mr. Price is just getting started, but they're quite big in the UK. But hopefully we will have some of you guys up there soon. Just before I say thank you, I will be sending all of this to everyone afterwards. If you do want to sign up, we're operating on an invite-only model. It's not super strict. It's me that unblocks that, so just email me or DM me if you want to get started. But everyone will get a copy of these links afterwards. But thank you very much.